Tokyo Ghoul Re, Chapter 3. We have a lot of ground to cover in this chapter. There is actually a lot of information to be found in this chapter, and where I see this going, I'm just going to state the obvious. It's 100%. It's 100% confirmed now. We already know about, Sasaki being Kaneki. That's fucking 100%, dude. There's no denying it. This chapter just automatically proved that it is Kaneki. It's obvious. So, Sasaki is Kaneki. Now, I want to talk about a different theory before I get into the entire Kaneki debate in this chapter. Okay. There is a lot of hints in this chapter that Shu is torso. I want to explain. I want to completely go into details of why this chapter hints at Shu being torso. A bunch of Chibits have came up with these theories a lot since the first chapter. But with this chapter, we got some concrete information that pretty much it's obvious that torso is Shu. So, this girl, right at the beginning of the chapter 3 of Tokyo Ray, Hori, we know she has a connection with Shu in the past. She's an informant. We know this. We know this information for a while now. And to actually find out she has a little bit of information on Torso, like pictures where he hunts, but there's a little bit of dialogue in that actually got me kind of intrigued. As we know from Shu, as a character, he was very attached to specific ways of killing. He would only hunt after certain people. For instance, Kaneki, he would only hunt after very delicious meals. We know for a fact that's how his personality was. Well, in this, you have it to where Hori asks Urie and Shirazu, can you give me any of Sasaki's personal belongings? Mainly his clothes, anything that has some of his scent on. Now, why would an informant close to Shu, a long time ago, want some of Sasaki's personal belongings that might have his scent on it? Now, here's a theory, and it's pretty obvious if you know what I'm talking about. What type of thing would wake up Torso from his, insanity? Right now, Torso's insane. For instance, he's crazy, he's going around eating everything, as we see. But the personality traits we have been seeing from him for these past couple chapters prove that most likely is Shu. The only way I think that someone could snap Torso, or Shu if it is Shu, out of that rage and insanity is if he realizes that Kaneki is not dead. At the moment, as we know, Shu thinks Kaneki was dead at the end of the series. You pretty much saw how he acted and how he broke down, and that entire bit with what happened to Kaneki would definitely break down someone like Shu if, the one person he actually loved and wanted to eat was to die. Shu's that type of character. And with this chapter, for Hori to mention she wants to get something of, Sasaki's personal belongings for him to smell, most likely, I want to say that's why. She wants to probably give those personal belongings to Torso to make him smell it, and it'll make him realize that it is Kaneki. And that'll be the entire revelation when I think the entire plot is Sasaki Kaneki is unveiled. Now, with this, there's a couple of things, too, that also hints at Torso being Shu. There is a leg scene. When you see, Sasaki actually talking in his mind about what Torso does, like what he eats and why he only eats torsos, and he leaves the head after, he's done with the victim, they talked about how he always removed the legs from his victims. He always did. That's what Torso does. And this instantly made me think when, Sasaki mentioned it, why would someone remove the legs? And then you had it to where he brought up saying, it's like a lover. He doesn't want his prey to run away. Why would Torso do this? Or mainly Shu, if it is Shu. Kaneki got away. He's gone in Shu's life. Shu doesn't want, someone like Kaneki to get away if it is Torso, so he would cut off someone's legs to where they can't run. It has an attachment to Sasaki or Kaneki. That's exactly what that means. And so I love that entire revelation of how they're trying to hint, Ishida's hinting at Torso being Shu. That is amazing. It is so easy to see it, though. It's, like I said, it's almost 100% confirmed for Shu, and it is 100% confirmed that Sasaki is Kaneki. Now, let's get into that entire debate with this chapter. More hints are put on the table for all of us manga readers about Sasaki. For one thing, one of the most recognizable traits in this chapter, or two recognizable traits. One, Sasaki's rape face. When he starts talking, you see the dialogue change and darken like a ghoul type speech. The dialogue changes, and that face is something we saw Kaneki do often after he got his white hair. We saw him do that quite a bit. I remember the drawings being like that, what Sasaki looked like in this chapter. That was a massive hint at Kaneki. That was Kaneki's rape face. It could be because maybe Ishida, since he is technically the drawer, the artist of the series, maybe the links, the reason why they look so similar is because of character design. I don't know, but that's fucking Kaneki's rape face. But what makes me believe it is there's another hint in this chapter, a major, massive fucking hint, or actually 2 other hints too. There's one hint to where you have it, where Kaneki has an inner monologue. Like, you see where he's supposedly sleeping, he wakes up. But in this inner monologue, seeing this other being wrapping itself around Sasaki, and it's solid white hair. Now, what person has solid white hair that has the same body shape as Sasaki? Kaneki. So, with that inner monologue, that was like the ghoul part, talking with Sasaki. And that makes me think that, like, this Sasaki is Kaneki. That's obvious. That entire inner monologue was way too similar to the entire torture scene back in the middle half of Tokyo Ghoul. So, that is pretty shocking to see that entire event. And another thing, too, that also hints at something different about Sasaki than the other half-ghouls that's been revealed since Chapter 1 of Tokyo Ghoul Ray, is that we get a little bit of hints that, for instance, Sasaki is very, like, sleepy. When he goes into the prison to go meet a ghoul, he is very groggy and sleepy. And you see Mitsuki actually notice this. You see him clearly notice this on Sasaki's face, because Sasaki messes up with saying Kaneki. And then you notice that Mitsuki actually notices this, and it's like, is he sleepy? And it looked like he was very groggy. Now, I want to take a few real quick. Chibi actually did this on the Chibi community page, and I want to take it and actually let you all know. Someone made a theory that maybe the reason why Sasaki is so groggy, maybe he took some red child cell repressants. For instance, like, all of his RC cells are repressed, and that is why he's so groggy in the way he's acting, because we have seen this demonstrated once before. Remember, there was ghouls that, get depressants. All the ghouls in there get depressants to where, their RC levels go down. And so it makes sense if Sasaki is different that he would need the RC repressants. So right there, a big reveal that it would take a little bit to understand. Maybe because of the translations, the dialogue could be a little bit off. I don't know, but we'll have to see exactly where it goes from there. Now, let's get into the actual beef of this chapter. I want to talk about Urie. Urie, I am not a big fan of his character. The way I see him developing, he's very selfish. Like, at the beginning of this chapter, he was manipulating Shirazu, trying to manipulate him to just go off and hunt Torso by himself. That's exactly what it was. He was just manipulating and playing games, like mind games, and Urie is just being manipulative, and he's being selfish. He wants all the credit for himself to get promoted. And Shirazu is just in it for the money, as we can see. Now, speaking of this, there's actually a dialogue in this chapter that speaks about the surgery, this new surgery that we know how these new half-ghouls came about. They talked about last chapter. Well, in this chapter, supposedly you can sign up for this test surgery. That's what Shirazu actually admitted in this chapter. He signed up for it, and he said that he would get some form of compensation for he can get money from this ordeal, and that's why he went underneath the surgery. So this proves to us that this is a very new surgery, and that most likely he was once a human, and he wasn't, like, forced into the situation that he now is as an investigator. He's not a living Kaneki. He willingly put himself into that situation. Most likely Urie and Kuki-chan, all of them did that to themselves. But Sasaki is completely different. We can tell he is completely different. Now, let's move on to the other parts. There's one part in this chapter that actually kind of got me a little bit shocked. There was a dude that was in the prison cell that got revealed in this chapter, and Sasaki was talking to for information about Torso. Why was he so selective about his meals? Why was he cutting the heads off? Stuff like that. There was a ghoul that was supposedly a Russian ghoul. Now, I could be wrong. I could be forgetting things. So, like I said, I am so sorry if I forget. But I thought ghouls, there wasn't Russian ghouls. Like, only Tokyo, Japan. Like I said, I could be fucking wrong. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But I thought ghouls weren't in other countries. Could be a translation error, or it could be my memory. Either way, I just wanted to mention that. And one more thing I want to talk about before I end this review is the final page of this chapter. There is a girl in the taxi that's supposedly talking to Torso. As we already know, Torso has been hinted at for the past couple chapters to be a taxi driver. It's been hinted at since the first chapter of Tokyo Ghoul Ray. We see this girl get inside of the taxi and talk to Torso, like, hey Torso, you got a mission from Tree. We all automatically know who Tree is, Ogiri Tree. We know who that is. And we already know it's been hinted at that Hinami-chan has joined Ogiri tree. We already know this has been hinted at since the end of Tokyo Ghoul. And so with that girl, her entire character design, honestly, looks a lot like Hinami. It looks exactly like Hinami, and it instantly makes me think, like, why would this person like Hinami, or if it is Hinami, go to try to find someone like Torso unless she knew this person? That instantly also makes me think it could be Shu, because we do know Hinami and Shu have a little bit of a connection. We know for a fact. That could also be another reason too. So I want to state that right now. That ending conclusion, I'm almost 100% positive that that is Hinami-chan. That's on the final page. Now I want to mention one more thing. A lot of Chibits butchered me on my Serpent Fury I had last week when I said it might be Toka. A bunch of Chibits came out with so much information and said no, it cannot possibly be Toka. It's Amon or it's Banjo. That's exactly what a bunch of Chibits said that Serpent could possibly be. It's not Toka. But so my Fury is busted. You Chibits busted it, and I'm gladly will admit my Fury is busted. But most likely, from all the information I saw last week in the comments from you Chibits, it is pretty much confirmed that either is Amon or it's Banjo that is Serpent. So anyways, this is going to conclude my review of Tokyo Ghoul Ray Chapter 3 this week. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.